Hi everyone, in this video I'll be showing you guys how to turn a simple rock sound like this, or this, into a nice rock impact like this, or this, or this. Hi everyone, David here from DavidDumais.audio.com, and in this video I'll be showing you guys how to create some rock impacts. So before we jump into the project, make sure to check the description because I'll be putting some a little sound pack for you guys of some of the sound sources that we are going to use to create the sound impacts, and also some impact sounds for you guys to pick up for free, and that you guys can use royalty free in your projects as you want. So make sure to check the link in the description for that. All right, let's get into the project, and we'll be designing some rock impacts. All right, so for designing rock impacts, I split my process up into 6 steps, or around 6 steps. And the first step here is to create some simple, to go and record some simple rock impacts. So let me show you kind of what I got here and give you guys some tips on what I found worked really well. So here's one. So these are all like small pebbles. This I think was a brick dropping on like little rocks. This one is just dropping multiple rocks at the same time. And so for these, I didn't find they work too well because it becomes too noisy. There's not enough definition in the sound because it sounds too like white noise. So what I found worked really well were sounds like this, so a lot more simple, like these here. So simple sounds like this, they just sounds like rocks, like little rocks that I dropped right in front of my microphone, and those are going to work perfect for the sounds we're creating. So this is step 1. All right, so for step 2, what we're going to do is start to design sounds. So I actually just brought them down from step 1 here onto a new track down here, but they're the exact same sounds. I haven't done anything to them. So if I actually take off this, you'll see they sound the exact same. So now what we're going to do is just design them a little bit. So first thing I put on is snap heap, and what I did here, it looks a bit more complex than it really is. It's really not that complex. So if I take these 2 off here, all I did is I brought down the pitch by an octave, added some distortion and a bit of compression because there's a lot of transient in the sound. So if I just play that now, so from before to now. And then what I did here are just parallel buses. So it's like if I turn this off, this one's doing this. This is just 2 octaves down. And then this one here, again, just 1 octave down. And I just added some stereo width and also this preset here, which is just an impact. So it's like some transient shapers and pitch down a little bit more. So again, it's just adding an extra hit to the sound. So if I put them all together now, so you get these kind of rock hit sounds, which already sound pretty decent on their own if you wanted to use them for something like that. But that's not the kind of sound I was going for. So let's keep going here. So I added some OTT here. So it just brings out a bit of the high ends and just flattens out the frequencies, I guess. And then I think I have trash here just to add some distortion in. And that's pretty much it. So this is the first level of design that I do for these. So what I would do is first export my regular sounds. So from step 1, I have all these sounds here that are not processed. I put those in a folder. Step 2, design them like this. They're all processed. I put them in a folder. And let me show you the sounds. So these were the sounds that I didn't like too much, but these are the sounds that I did like. So let's hear what these sound like. And I also put these in a folder. So they're a bit washy. They're not that great, some of them, but some of them are okay. Like the ones that are more transient heavy, like that one's good. So yeah, so this is step 2. All right, so for step 3, what I did is I imported all of my single hits, like single rock impact hits that were processed and not processed, and then I imported them all into S layer. So once I got into S layer and I imported them all in, I just started like playing around and see what kind of sounds I could get. So this is the kind of sounds I got. Which is good. And then what I did is I just started designing a little bit. So the first thing I did was I just copy and pasted the same snap heap preset that I had into here, except I turned off the two other channels here. So I only have this one where I'm pitching it down an octave with some distortion and compression, which sounds like this. So that's fine. Some of them don't really work. You kind of have to play around with it a little bit and find some sounds that sound more like rocks. Once I got something I liked, then I wanted to add a bit of bass, so I put sub synth on here. And I just put it at 40%, and I'm adding some subharmonics here at between 56 and 80. So it's very light, you can barely hear it. And then I think the last thing I added here was just recenter, just because I still want the stereo width that S layer is giving me, but I just wanted the sound to be centered. And that's pretty much it. Then once I got a whole bunch of these that I liked, I just exported them onto here. And these are the sounds I got. So I got something like this. And this. So they're okay. And then so what I did then is I just copy and pasted those onto a new channel here, and I just processed them some more. So I added, again, snap heap here, which is just pitch shifting and distortion again, and a bit of OTT, just bring down the upward and downward compression, but the depth all the way up. And it sounds like this. And I just brought down the gain a little bit here. But so with all these together, it sounds like this. So you get these lower, almost sub-ear rock impact sounds, and this is what I did for step 3 here. All right, so once I had kind of my rock hits in place, so I had different layers. So I have my higher pitch layer, I have kind of a medium and lower pitch layer. The next thing I wanted to work on was debris. So whenever I do my explosion impact sound, I'm going to have the rock sounds. I want to have an explosion sound. I want to have debris. So for this, what I did is I just imported all of my rock sounds that I had already chopped up. So the impacts and also some debris sounds that I had recorded. I put them all into Contact here, and they just automatically put across the keyboard. So now I can just play them. And if I turn off my processing here. So again, all I did here is, actually don't have anything on here, so I don't know why this is on. I think I have a bit of distortion here. Again, if you look at the mix, it's pretty low. So just to add a bit of distortion and pitching down 6, and again, a bit more distortion here. So, and then all I'm doing is I'm kind of performing the debris fall as I want. So. Kind of like that. So I just play it on my keyboard and I'm kind of performing it, and then it gives me these sounds. So this is what I got for that. And I did a few different pitches. So here, down here is actually when I had it pitched down with a snap heap, and then I turned this off, and then I recorded 6 more here, and then recorded these without any pitch shifting. So they're a bit higher pitched. And that way I have a bit more balance in terms of frequencies. I'm going to fill out the highs and the mids a little bit better. So that's how I created these debris sounds here. And this is what I did for step 4 here. All right, so for step 5, I wanted to create an explosion sound, and this is going to be, I guess, the core of the sound, or the bass or the boominess of the sound for the rock impact. So this is probably one of the most important layers because it's going to be the one that's most prominent. So here is what I did for this. So here, this is the same S layer version that I had for my impact sounds up here. So if I play it, so you can hear there's some processed impact sounds and then some that are not. And then layering them together, this is what I get. And then, so what I did here is I added a few things. So first thing was I added OTT because I'm going to need a lot of compression on these sounds. So this is the first thing. This is the second one here. I added a second OTT, which is just the exact same thing twice. I then added recenter just to center everything, but you don't technically need this, but it's nice to have. And then I added distortion. So here I got just trash 2 on amp drainer. So it starts sounding really bad when you're playing up high, but then as you play lower, you're starting to hear that kind of distorted, bassy sound that you want. So that's this one here. Let's see if I can find another sample, something maybe sounds a little bit better. That, and then I added another transient shaper just to add more punch to the impact. So the thing I did here is I made sure to play a bit with the release to make sure that the shot, the impact, the explosion is kind of short and doesn't have like this long tail. I want it to just be a hit, and then that's pretty much it. So something like that. So that sounds pretty good. So I would take that, I'd probably print it out. So you kind of have to play around a little to find one like sounds that work. Might want to change the distortion. If it's too distorted, it might sound weird. See, like that just sounds weird, so you don't want that. So maybe I'll do something like this. And that's pretty much it. So once you have that, I just created a whole bunch of these impact sounds, and they sounded like this. And the shorter you can make them, the better. So, and you'll see why for the next step. So this is our explosion sounds. All right, so for step 6 is similar to step 5, where we're creating another layer of the explosion sound. And this part is more for texture. So if you listen to what I have here, it sounds kind of like this. Right, so these kinds of sounds, so they just add a bit more texture to the sound compared to the other one. So for this one, I did a different, I imported different sounds into S layer here. I imported sounds that were more simple rock sounds, so like this. So I'm just turning off all the effects here. So super simple, nothing complex. It's just like rocks falling together. And then all it is processing to make them sound like this. So what I did here, first one I did here is pitch shifter. So I pitch shift everything down and then added some dynamics, so some compression. What else is there on here? Transient shaper, just to add some hit, some punch at the transient, and distortion. So why don't I actually turn these off so you guys can hear what they sound like as I add them on one by one. All right, this is just with S layer. Next thing I added here was OTT, just to add some compression. After that, I want more distortion. And that's quite a bit more volume to the sound as well. And then I wanted to add bass. So you really feel that bassy hit. Again, I added some at around 56 to 80. And it just feels really nice. Next, I added some light saturation here. It's a little loud, but it sounds pretty good. And then recenter just to make sure the explosion is centered, which is probably the most important, just especially because it's the bass sound. You really want that in the center. And then this is just to bring down the volume because it was getting a little loud, and I wanted to balance out my sound here. And that's how I created these sounds. Now I can just go through and find just a bunch of these really nice like rock sounds, impact sounds, explosion sounds that sound just really good and that are going to layer really well with my other explosion sounds. So let's play through some of the sounds that I exported here. So. Okay, so once I had these all exported out, I had all of the layers that I would need to create my rock impact sound. So we've got our high layers, impacts, our mid layers up here of impacts. We have some debris, and then we have our lower explosion, two lower explosion layers that have texture and bassiness to them. So next what we're going to do is put them all together to create our rock impact sound. All right, so to put together our impact sound, our finalized sound effects, what I decided to use is Soundweaver. So on here, you can see here that I split up my sound effect into our three groups. So we have our higher pitch and mid frequency impact sounds, they're rock sounds. So these are these ones here. So if I play them like that, those, and then we have our explosion sounds here, and then we have our debris here, which are really quiet, but they're just adding that extra texture to the sound. And then when you put them all together, you get something like this. And what's great about this is now I can just go and just click randomize and see what kind of combinations I can come up with these layers. So if I just hit randomize, we'll do that. Okay. So let's hear what we get. Might need to play around with it, but let's So that's cool. Let's say I like that one. I could also try pitching it down, which sounds great as well. So as you can see, like it's really easy to just kind of randomize everything, comb through it, and just have a listen to what works. If anything sticks out, like at the ends, there's always like a little one like sound file that's going to stick out, which is fine. You can always just move it around or just do a fade out, and then it's good. So let's keep going like this. Let's see. And then if there's one that I like, I might do something like prepare for drag and drop, and then I can just put it into my DAW, and then we'd be good to go. All right, so hopefully you can see how I created these rock impacts just from simple, dropping pebbles and rocks against each other and then just turning it into this massive impact explosion sound with debris and everything else. So anyways, I hope this video was useful and helpful and valuable. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below. I always do my best to answer them. And if you guys want to see another video about the Soundweaver that I used to create these sound effects, I did a review about it, so I'll probably put it in the cards or in the description. So make sure to check that out if you're interested. And just a reminder to grab those free sound effects if you want to use them for your project. And I think that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.